Hi, my name's Robin Powell, and welcome to my low-level GemCraft Chasing Shadows Mana Farm tutorial. I have noticed that while people will often say, oh, you can do this at like level 100, they don't actually give you any information on how to do that at all. And there's an awful lot of finicky details that you need to deal with if you haven't done this before and if you're doing it on lower levels. So I'm 150. My best guess is that I could do what I'm doing without modification probably around level 120, 130. Not much before that. Before that, I was just using kill towers and as many battle traits as I could stand. Okay, so here we go. Now, I will warn you in advance that I'm not working from script. And also, you can tell by the fact that I'm level 150 that I've not actually played through a whole level this way. I got it all working, and then I killed myself so that I could do this and have it be, completely authentic. So I'm probably going to forget things as I go along, and it's so incredibly finicky that I'm probably going to screw it up at least once and have to restart and come back, so just so you know. Okay, so here's my skill set. This is nothing different from most tutorials that you'll see on this topic, except that I don't have anything in amplifiers. I haven't really found it necessary. Nothing in here should be unexpected if you've been looking into mana farms at all, and if you haven't, a lot of what we're doing here is based on chain hit and mana leech. Fury is very important. You could probably do this without Fury, but I wouldn't want to, so go for Fury. Pull bound is essential. Now, a lot of tutorials, there's the big question here is pool bound or blood bound. Pool bound or blood bound. You'll get a lot of different tutorials saying different things. The key difference here is that pool bound at lower levels in general, lower levels of the gem, lower amount of your mana pool, fewer number of hits, etc. That is when you're getting started off like we are here. Pool bounds multiplier is much higher than blood bounds at low levels. Now, if you do everything just right and you've got trillions of monsters, and I mean that literally, coming through your traps and so on, it is possible for blood bound to outpace pool bound, and I will send a link to some technical comparisons that somebody did, but certainly in the first 60 waves of the first, let's say the first 30 gem levels, pull bound is way better. So pull bound. Okay, so that's that. Let's see. So we're gonna do the very first. We're gonna do F1, very first level. Yeah. So shift and click will get you to fill up the battle traits. I don't like dealing with mana lock. There's certainly nothing stopping you from dealing with mana lock here, but the point of what I'm demonstrating here is to show you how you can get, I mean, we're only at level 150, right? So I'm showing you how you can get, 10 million XP or so. We're not doing billions of XP here. So I'm not turning on everything, I'm not turning on glaring, it's just to demonstrate the technique. So, okay, so first of all, I could probably reuse some of these, but it's a pain, so I'm not going to. And we're going to place our trap. And the trap position, the goal with the trap position is to make it so that I can surround it with as many amplifiers as possible, which I don't think you can quite do 6 on this map. Yeah, well, you probably could, but this will work well enough. There we go. Okay. And then we are blocking other monsters from coming in, monsters from avoiding the trap, and this will be our mana leech trap. So, mana leech trap. We need chain hit, that's so that it hits more than one monster at once. Slow, which you may have noticed I didn't put any points in, just because slowing them down a little tends to make things go more smoothly in my experience. It's probably not required. Pool bound for the multiplicative bonus, and mana leech because that's what it's actually here for. Now, a very key point that you want to keep in mind is that our goal here is to not kill anything with our leech trap ever. Now, there's a lot of variability on this. I've had pretty successful runs of a few million XP where I did let the leech, where I did let the leech gem do all the trapping. I'm sorry, do all the killing. There's a tutorial I'm going to link to in which that is the entirety of the technique. Is the leech gem does all the killing, and you bomb with, I think it's 32 gems for every single wave. So there's a staggering amount of monsters coming through. However, the thing about this technique is that you've got this chain hit going on, and the chain hit, especially when you've added some amplifiers, the chain hit means that you hit a bunch of monsters for each time that the trap fires off, which means that the more monsters that are on screen nearby the trap, the more mana that you pull. So having like these giant gloms of monsters running gleefully past the trap, not actually taking any significant damage, means that the chain hit gets to hit a bunch more monsters, and you can get ridiculous amounts of mana that way. So that's that guy. Let's see. Then we need. I'm going to do, and this is a personal style choice of mine. It is not something I've seen in other tutorials, so take it with a grain of salt. But I have both a kill trap and a kill tower, and the kill tower is just because I get really sick of flying monsters and so on. Having said that, you could just as easily pull the kill gem out of the trap into the tower when you need to kill flying things. The really nice thing about having a kill trap gem that just sits there doing its thing, though, is that you can cast bolt onto your kill trap, and that is something that I actually haven't seen mentioned in tutorials at all. Casting bolt on your kill trap means that it ignores armor, and that when you're starting with like 45 in all of your skills and a mana pool of like 10,000, you can kill everybody out of the gate with no problem anyway. But that's not true for us. We're starting much more simply. So being able to ignore armor really helps with the bootstrapping up to a ridiculous number of monsters, and perhaps more importantly, if your kill trap has bolt and your leech trap does not have bolt, then you can keep them at pace with each other, and the leech trap will never actually succeed at killing anything, because we're going to be bombing the monsters up to levels of armor such that if you don't have some kind of armor piercing, you just can't function. I also put a kill gem in a tower, and for the kill gem in the tower, I use beam. You'll note that I'm still missing two of the attack skills, so I don't even know what they do. Not much I can do about that. But anyway, here's our kill gem. So chain hit again because yay chain hit. Slow again because yay slow. Pool bound because multiplicative. And again here, the top gem is sort of the focus of what this gem is for, which in this case is killing things and critical hitting. So critical hit gem, yay. I do not have enough to clone it into the tower for now, which actually, I think I'm actually going to put it in the tower until we get a little bit further in. Since we don't have bolt anyway, it's not really of much use in the trap. So now we're going to be looking at, let's see, what did I want to do next? Okay, now we're going to do some gem bombing. So I leave a single gem in my inventory, and if you hit B and then hold shift, you can bomb multiple times by copying the gem out of your inventory. Now the goal here is to bomb as much as you can stand. So we are doing 209 points of damage. In my experience, what's about right is to, for reavers, is to get them up to about 80% of your max damage. It's been my experience that you're pretty thoroughly guaranteed to kill anything if you get it up to about 80%. I just want to make the general warning here that if you over enrage, that's how you're gonna screw that's how you're gonna mess this up. It's happened to me many times. The way that the easy way to mess this up is to over enrage, because if monsters break through your kill trap and your kill tower, they won't like do it in like 2s or 3s generally speaking, and they'll do it in like hundreds, and then everything just kind of falls apart after that. So I try to keep it to about 80% because I really want, because we're dealing with very limited resources, my goal here is to put together a system that will give me lots of XP at relatively low risk rather than oodles, super billions of XP, but requires like a PhD in balancing your multipliers and crap. So anyway, I go for about 80%, so 180, something in that range. Now we're not going to actually get up there because I'm not willing to spend that much on the first wave. But the important thing here is that we have nothing that goes through armor yet. So, for now, that 180 or so that we can kill, that has to be a combination of the hit points and the armor level. So, and like I said, we don't have that much anyway, so we're at 90 something, like 130. Yeah, so we're going to stop there. And the reason we're going to stop there is that we're going to start beacon griefing. Because you may have noticed that there are going to be a lot of beacons coming our way. For one thing, there's going to be one like every second level or something due to the battle traits that we went with. So the way that beacon griefing works is that you stick walls in every area that such that there is no 2x2 area that doesn't have anything in it. And now we're out of mana, and that's fine. Now, when I do beacon griefing, I pretty much just cover this area here and this area here and kind of up and through here and then about here. Once you get past here, if we get beacons all around the thing. It doesn't really matter to me very much. I don't often bother. An important part of the beacon griefing, since again we're starting out with relatively limited resources, I can't just tile the whole place with walls, which I would dearly love to do. So an important thing about beacon griefing is being aware that early on you can gem bomb the beacons out of existence pretty effectively. Later on, especially if you go into endurance, they start getting exponential HP, and that doesn't really work. So you can pretty much assume that once you've beacon griefed as much as you can pretty much assume that whatever the beacon pattern is after about level 20, 25, 30, that's going to be the beacons that you're stuck with forever. So make sure you're happy with them. And some general warnings before we get started. There are mobs that will so your big foe is resocketing. Resocketing, because we're only using 3 gems, resocketing will kill you. Just outright. It's terrible. So keep an eye out for resocketing beacons, kill them. Keep an eye out for monster waves that have the resocketing special ability, kill them. Move your kill tower around to get to them as quickly as possible. Whatever you need to do, kill them. There was something else. There's something I wanted to warn you about besides the beacon resocketers, but I'm not thinking of it right now. So, monsters that come with shield can be a pain. It's worth mentioning. But anyway, okay. So here we go. Look, 2 beacons. Zap. See, nobody dying. That's fine. That's what we want. Okay, so let's see. We've got some mana. So we're going to bomb level 2. What did we say? 2, about 180? Yeah. Okay, that's about right. What we're kind of waiting for here, between bombing the levels and griefing the what are those things called? Beacons. Between bombing the levels and griefing the beacons, what we're waiting for right now is Bolt. At this level of play, at least for me, I can't really get anything working very effectively in terms of super uber mana piles of stuff without Bolt. So let's see. We also want to duplicate this gem and stick it in our trap. And a few getting away from you at this point isn't that big of a deal. It's later on when thousands of monsters are reaching the thing at once that people getting away from you becomes a real problem. 130, good enough. Because we're getting more people getting through than I'd like, so I turn it down a little bit. You'll notice that very few people are dying to the trap. This is not surprising. The trap without bolt, it's not that effective. It's only doing 42 points of damage. Trying to decide if I want to level up the gem. Probably. I'm going to do some more griefing first, though. You can see I'm not especially systematic about this. There we go. Yeah, it's going to hurt for a minute, but I think we'll be okay. Early on, at least, I don't touch giants. I find it too dangerous. There we go. Ah, bolt. Lovely. Die. There. You'll notice that people are now dying at the trap very extensively. This will also help. Later on, I'm told that assigning that thing, the carrying orblet option, is very dangerous because it will lag your computer to hell, but we're not very late on, so. Come on, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. See, and this is what I was saying, where I'm probably going to have to restart because I lost an orblet. Losing an orblet is bad, so I'm going to set up again and then continue. So I've set back up again, and after various issues, and this time I didn't make a trap at the beginning at all because to save mana. So I've got a couple of attack gems here, and I've got my bolt, and so I'm ready to make my trap. I've also been doing a lot of beacon griefing, as you can see. And we go in there, and we level up, because why the hell not? And there we go, and that should start killing things very efficiently, and look at that, very much with the killing. I wanted to mention a few things, especially after some of the problems I had with earlier versions of this recording. One is that there's something that will occasionally happen that will blow up walls. I assume it's a monster modifier of some kind. I've never really figured that out, but be aware that your walls can actually go away, and then suddenly you'll start having beacon problems, so you should certainly keep an eye on that. I also want to let you know that this time through I've been bombing only up to about 100 total HP plus armor. That's been working well, and the thing is, you don't really need to bomb that much at the early stages here. Once we get, once you get to like grade 7, you really want to start bombing as much as you can get away with, especially when you get amplifiers, but early on it's not that important. We're starting on a shoestring budget, so it's okay to work up to things slowly. Now that we've got bolt on this thing, though, it changes the equation because we're no longer looking at comparing max damage to HP plus armor. We're comparing it to just HP, which means we can do much larger waves. So I'm going to go for about 100 here, but just HP. So as you can see, the armor gets catastrophically large, but that's okay because we're ignoring it. It's definitely important to err on the side of the caution in the early stages here, because by far the easiest way to screw everything up is to overbomb and just blow everybody through your gems. And the problem is that you're dealing with so many monsters that once they get past your attack gems, you're really in trouble very quickly. And you can see here we've got this continuous stream of enemies between the two traps, and that's going to be pretty much the case for the entire rest of the process here. These traps are actually a lot farther apart than most people do them. The problem with having them this far apart is that when you get up to really large amounts of enemies, you end up with a lot of monsters on screen. The frame rate goes way down. The reason that they're this far apart is because with our shoestring budget, I want to make sure that I have time to adjust any problems that might arise. So let's do some leveling up. Actually, let's gem bomb first. What are we going for? About 110. Oops, maybe a little much, but I think it'll probably be fine. So these monsters, as you can see, have armor levels in the 5,000 and up range. So we're going to level up our main gem here pretty significantly. In fact, in just a second here, we're going to level up to level 7. Now, level 7 is really important because level 7 is the point where these extra bonuses kick in. So if you look carefully at the skill screen for each gem type, it'll be like gives 30% bonus to pool bound, and then gives another 15% bonus to pool bound gems above level 7. So once you cross level 7, things take this big jump. And you can watch that here if you like. So yeah, so pretty big jump, especially in the leeching. Now, we're now ahead in level from the trap, and it's really important that we don't want the leech gem to ever kill anything, but that's okay because these things have 5,000 armor. It's not going to get through at all. And I'm going to cast Beam on it because that immediately refreshes it. And you can see our mana's jumping pretty quick over there. We're getting some pretty significant mana now. Whee! All the manas. Okay, so that's 7, and let's bring this guy up to 7 since we have a, what is that, bolt available. And now I think we're about ready to start, I should level this guy up soon. I think now we're about ready to start inserting amplifiers. Okay, so let's see, where do we actually have to put in our amplifiers? So for the mana leech, we're going to put a little bit of chain hit, and oops, no, that's one. A little bit of chain hit and a bunch of mana leech. So 1 part chain hit and 3 parts mana leech. That's fine. We need a little bit more mana. And in the attack, we're going to put a little bit of chain hit and a bunch of critical hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that. Okay, I'm going to kill a few more waves and see if I can get these last 2 amplifiers placed. I'll be back in a minute. Having trouble getting those last couple of amplifiers placed, but in the meantime, let's talk about the amplifiers. So you can see here that we're getting some increased critical damage. I'm not sure. It doesn't say that it's making a difference to the chain hit length, so that may have been a waste. And here we're getting a bonus to the mana leech per hit, which is yay. And now we've got swarmlings coming up. So a few more general comments on amplifiers. One is that I don't see much point in advancing them beyond level 7. The difference gets so incremental it doesn't seem worth the mana. Pullbound apparently doesn't do anything in amplifiers at all. I'm not sure whether chain hit does. It certainly doesn't say that it does. I guess we could test that by pulling these out. Anyway, so we've got, but the general comment is that I've said that we go for like 80% or 75 or 80% of the HP of a Reaver compared to the maximum damage that your attack gem is doing, and that's how you picks how many bombs to drop. With Swarmlings, I tend to go for something more like 50% because there's so many of them, but an important factor here is that the more effective your amplifiers are, those numbers start to go up, where, a little bit later we're going to be able to do like 110%, 120%, double, triple. It's all kind of a balancing act. You keep trying to get those numbers higher and higher and higher because they get you more XP as long as nobody's breaking through this attack gem. So yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. Okay, so let's buff up these swarmlings and see what we get to. So 200 maybe? Whoops. support gems. Now we're getting some mana. Yay! So let's see, we've got some, level 4 support gems? Level 5 support gems. And 340. So I'm gonna take these rivers all the way up to 350 and we'll see how it goes. We've got enough mana floating around at this point that if we have real trouble we can buff up the extra attack tower gem and see what, and try to solve it that way. Oops, speaking of which, so you've got to check these little small squares here because there's one Touch of Wisdom. Yes, so Touch of Wisdom gives you more experience for the entire rest of the battle. So you can actually increase this by putting gem bombs on it. So from reading around on that a bit, I discovered that the maximum you can increase Touch of Wisdom is 200%, and that you want to use absolutely all of your mana to do it. So apparently the goal is 36 gems. Yeah, I think if I combine again, I don't think I'm gonna have enough to fill it up, so let's do these. There we go. So theoretically that's a 16%. It seems like it could help a lot. Okay, there, I've just spent all my mana on that. 18%. And of course I'm going to have more mana before I get there. Whoa! At some point I control-clicked on that level, which was not my intention. That's slightly annoying. Now I'm just going to let it go. Whee. Okay, what are we up to now? 380, yeah, let's go for 400. Yeah, a lot of monsters coming through right now. Good XP though. Or good mana run. Okay, let's see. Have trouble getting that spot. I'm gonna level up our ancillary gems here. I want to kind of get everything to level 7, and that's where things really start coming together. Um, 400 clear isn't causing us any problems. I'm going to bring it up around 500. Still isn't going to cause us any problems about to upgrade all these guys. Get them all the way to level 7? Not quite. There we go. What do we got now? 520, 570. Let's go for 600. Oh, let's go for 700. What the hell? We haven't had anybody break through in a long time. Shouldn't be that hard to deal with. Now, as you can see, our mana is increasing quite precipitously. So let's beef some stuff up. Level 8, level 8, I gotta have to do both? Yep. Level 9. Level 9. Not enough to do more. And we use Bolt to refresh that one, and Beam to refresh that one, although I'm told Barrage is better, but I don't have it. And we're at 1,000. So let's make this, oh, I don't know, 1,300? Still haven't had a breakout, so why the hell not? And level 10, level 10. So let's say 2,000. Now, along some point here, especially when you're doing swarmlings, you're going to get to 999 of a monster. When you hit 999, that means that you need to upgrade your bomb. You need to level up your bomb so that you will actually get as much XP as you can for the crazy amount of monsters that you're generating. Also, this is around the point where you start wanting to actually upgrade giants, because the giants are going to die too fast, which is kind of amusing all by itself. I'm going to do a couple, yeah, as you can see, I'm just generating completely ridiculous amounts of mana at this point. I'm going to do a couple 10 more levels and come back. So I've been going for a while. As you can see, we're doing pretty well. I just spent 20 million mana on leveling up. We're about to come to the end here. In fact, for the last little while here, the main thing, the main limiting factor has actually not been mana. It's been availability of Bolt, because you can free when you up your gem. Of course, monsters can get through, and with this many monsters floating around, that's really, really bad. Ooh, another touch of wisdom. That's 3 of them in this one. Wow. You can freeze to stop the monsters long enough for the gem to upgrade. I find that that's kind of weak. I find that they can sometimes get through anyway, so I prefer to use Bolt to instantly refresh the gem while it's paused. And so I've actually been, I would have leveled up more often than I had if I'd had enough Bolt to do it. Let's see what we can do with Touch of Wisdom here. Sure, let's do that. I think we're going to get some pretty intense XP on the end of this one, at least by my current standards. There we go. And last but not least, bomb, which might or might not leave us with enough to beef up these swarmlings. Actually, I'm going to upgrade to the next level because I got 999 swarmlings last time. What are we going for? We're going for, woof, we've had a bunch of pool-bound bumps. So 100,000, 120,000, something on that order. I haven't had a monster breakthrough, and I don't know how long, which means I'm means I'm being overly cautious. Oops, we got to 999. I should have used a bigger gem. Oh well. Giants. Yeah, like I said, I could probably do better than I'm doing. I think I'm being overly cautious because I haven't had any monsters break through. But yeah, I'm okay with that. Okay, here we go. Whee! And it looks like we'll be able to do one more. I've been waiting until I have double the mana that I need so I can level up both gems at the same time. Looks like we'll get to do one more. I was worried we wouldn't get Bolt fast enough, but there it is. 35, we need about 41. There we go. And that's level 19. Whee! So much mana. Jesus, we might get to 80, do another one. Yeah, we actually could do another one. I just don't have any Bolt. I'm gonna let these monsters stream out anyway. Looks like we're... Wow, that is a lot of mana. I'm just going to go ahead and let them finish up. Triple speed. So yeah, 14 million XP. Now, the general recommendation from people who do tutorials on this sort of thing is that you should not bother with endurance mode because it's not really worth it. And I can understand that when you're starting with a decent chunk of mana pool, that you can start with a bunch of mana and then run through a level in like 5 minutes. I can understand skipping endurance mode, but we're not in that position, so I'm probably going to continue with endurance mode, and I'll come back when I'm about to die. So I want to take a minute to mention a couple of other points. One is that once you have tons of mana, towers are way better for beacon briefing than walls are. It's hard early on when you don't have a lot of resources. What happened here was that I had a breakthrough, and so I ended up having to beef up my tower. It turns out that level 19 towers are really, really impressive. They completely wiped out the entire stream of enemies. It's really quite something. There was something else I was going to mention. This is the other advantage to poolbound over bloodbound. Poolbound is relative to what the pool has reached, no matter which gem you're using. So this poolbound gem gives a 9.05 multiplier, and this poolbound gems give 12 because of the amplifier. But if this was a bloodbound gem, it would be getting like 1.2 or something from the bloodbound multiplier because it hasn't done any killing, which is a really big advantage of poolbound. It means that if you need to suddenly make a really powerful tower gem and blow everyone away, you can actually do that. So what are we at? We're at 3.7 million max damage. Okay, I'm going to beef these guys up a bit. Just as the further comment on the force multiplying abilities of amplifiers that I mentioned earlier, since I'm in endurance, I don't really care if I die at this point, so I've been experimenting. My attack gem is currently doing a maximum of 7 million, and I've been sitting through swarmling waves of 14, 15, 17.5 million this time. And I haven't seen any trouble whatsoever, so apparently with 6 level 7 amplifiers I can do well over double. I don't know what the limit is at this point, but I just want to make the comment that at 55 million damage done, or 52 million, life of, what are these guys coming through with? Yeah, life of 200 million is no longer enough to actually break giants through my 270 million is no longer enough to break giants through my leech gem, let alone my attack gem. I basically, when they die back like this, which happens when I upgrade the leech gem and forget to upgrade the waves, when they die back like this, the only thing that's getting them through the leech gem is really high-powered swarms. So we're just doing ridiculous amounts of damage. I think the 103 chain hit length has something to do with that. So I'm having trouble getting anybody through my leech gem, which I haven't upgraded in a while. And that's a problem because the mana goes up massively when your leech gem is no longer killing people. I just did 2 swarmling waves of 2 billion each, and as you can see, they're starting to break through. It looks like a wood chipper around the leech gem. It's crazy. But I'm hoping that this wave is gonna stage a massive breakout. This is a boss wave. I've leveled up almost to 2 billion, and it's got healing and spawnlings, and yeah, the shield, something that I could get lots of shields on would be better, but let's try this out, see how it goes. Gonna get through, yay, somebody got through. Woohoo! Yeah, I've discovered from these diebacks, these accidental diebacks that I've had, I've discovered that the rate at which your mana increases when your leech gem is doing all the killing is just way, way down from when your leech gem is surrounded by living monsters. So yeah, I'm actually having trouble making monsters powerful enough that I can't immediately kill them. It's quite something. So after much experimentation, I've determined that at my current level of pool bound, what is my mana pool level? 32. with level 33 gems. The right number to get that nice pipe of green with nobody getting past, the right number for Swarmlings is about 3.5 trillion HP. Which, yeah, wow. So I'm at level 250 and I'm boosting monsters to 2 or 3 quadrillion HP. Yeah, it's getting a little ridiculous over here. And I've got housework to do, so I'm gonna boost this guy one more time, and then I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go do some cleaning up around the house, and I'm gonna let it run, and I'll presumably die at some point, and I'll come back and let you know. I just realized before I left that I better put a tower in place for any spires that come along, because that'd be a dumb way to die. So there's my tower, and it's level 38, and my kill gem is 39, and we'll see how it goes. So let's see, what level did we get to? Does it say what wave you got? I kind of assumed that would be in here somewhere. Oh. And how many levels we got? So from 156 to 1036, so like 900 or so levels, 850 something. So that was pretty successful. That worked out okay. I've got 45,000 mana pool if I don't bump my skills. So yeah. So that is how you get from the early game to the mid game. Good luck with your own playing, and one final note: by going back frame by frame, just when I clicked back to map, it actually showed the game for a second. By going back frame by frame, I discovered that I got to level 367, and I was in fact killed by a spire, presumably because the tower gem had no armor piercing ability. If I'd been there to cast beam, it probably would have been fine. So, yep, 367. That was fun. See ya.